So the sweet spot. How much you want to spend on your gaming computer. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Not necessarily that, a certain number for everybody is going to fit, but each kind of budget and where you should be willing to save up to kind of reach the best for that kind of range of price. So as you can tell, I can scoot over a little bit. You can see all the boxes that I've done recently that I've built computers. And I like collecting those because they look really cool in the background. But, I've built a couple computers recently, so I know what I'm talking about here. So we've got a lot of different budgets. People say, $2,000 is a great budget, $1,000 is a great budget. There's a lot of different budgets. But I'm going to explain basically kind of the tiers you want to go for. And for the sake of this video, it's going to be mostly for gaming. I will mention a couple different streaming options like throughout this video if you guys really want to see a bunch of streaming like budget sets, where you should be considering to kind of save up to a point to get a really big increase in performance. So basically what I'm going to do today is just talk about certain budget, what you get at that budget, and why the next kind of step up from that is a big jump. So, I have this system I use for video editing. This at the time was a pretty big chunk of money. I've built a couple 1060 systems. I've got a couple different systems in mind, but we're going to start from the bottom up and go upwards so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. So first off, let's talk about where you should kind of save up to get the best money possible, or get the best performance possible. So $800 is what I consider a good budget to build a decent gaming computer. Now, you're going, well, why save up $800? You can get like an APU, all that stuff. And I'm not saying those are not great gaming options. When I build a computer for somebody, I want to make sure that A, the computer is going to last a while. You're not going to be, having to invest more money to get a new motherboard, CPU, all that stuff in a year or two. And I really think that if you save up $800, not only do you have the option to get like a Ryzen processor, which I definitely recommend a Ryzen 5. That way if you ever want to do video editing, it's not the processor that's the problem, or you ever want to do streaming, or even later down the line when games require more cores and threads, you don't have that as a problem as well. Your CPU is not your bottleneck. And so I always say that you want to save up $800 so that you have the option to upgrade your RAM, all this stuff. You have a lot of upgrading options. When you have a budget below $800, you get into an issue where, yeah, you have an APU, and a Ryzen 5 is great. A 2600 something G. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact Ryzen APU name. I'm sorry, but the Ryzen 5 APU, that yes, has a lot of features. You can always add a graphics card to it, and you can always add more RAM. You can always go great with that. But that processor still has those 4 cores and 8 threads, pretty much like a 7th gen i7, similar, not the same, just in the same core counts and thread counts. And I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, that's something good, but it's not really pairing. Like if you decide to get like a 1080 Ti, you're still going to kind of bottleneck from your CPU. So it's really kind of important that if you get a save up the $800. Yes, you can get a 1050 Ti or get a 2600X, and you get a nice overclocking processor that you can always upgrade and add a 1080 Ti later on and still have all the cool features without having to spend a huge absorbent amount of money. So the next step up, I would say, is the $1,000 budget range. And what you're getting over the past thing is not really much. You're just getting a better graphics card. Now, the difference between a 1050 Ti and a 1060 6GB is pretty substantial, and I would say that that's kind of where you should be willing to save your money. I'm not saying that there's an RX 580 or AMD RX 580 that you could definitely get that's in between there if your budget's a little bit in between those. But basically, what you're really changing from the 800 to 1,000 is the graphics card, because at that point, that's all you really can increase without having to redo their system. And I honestly, if you're just doing gaming, that's the best thing you can do at that point. And so the next budget, I would say, especially now at the time of this video, is probably around $1,300 to $1,400. And what you're getting in that is just a nice overall system improvement. You're getting the latest Ryzen 7, you're getting a 1080 Ti, you're getting all those stuff, especially since the prices have come down around $600, sometimes even $500. I've seen a couple on sale. You can get a really nice graphics card and kind of be at that nice budget range. Are still within your budget, and of course you get all those features of like the latest processor. You get all the video editing out of that Ryzen processor. You can of course get an 8700K if you're really going for gaming. I personally am a workstation user. That's what I use the system for, so that's why I'm just familiar using Ryzen processors. But Intel does a great job with the gaming processors, especially with the 8000 or 9900K that'll be coming out. That'd be really expensive, and just keep in mind you'd have to offset that with the graphics card. But for gaming, the $1,300 to $400 budget is a perfect area to go for. Now, There's a step up from that as well, which the next kind of tier is this $2,000 market. And if you want my honest opinion, don't go past the $1,400 budget right now. Why? Because what you're really just upgrading from paying that extra $600 for is the newest Intel NVIDIA graphics card, and you're really just paying for that. And while yes, you can have the RTX, all the ray tracing features, and actually no, sorry, the ray tracing features are only on like I think 5 games. The RTX or the AI, the other half of RTX, the AI features. Long story short, in order to be classified RTX game, it has to either have the AI or the ray tracing. And some games, actually majority, like 7 or like 3/4 of the games have the AI feature and not the ray tracing. So you really have a small, percentage that you actually have ray tracing on, which, right now it hasn't really caught on. I would like to see it, catch on more before I decide to invest an extra $600 on a 2080 Ti. I mean, yes, they look cool, but the performance increase over the 1080 Ti is only 30%, and you're paying an additional $600 when the graphics card itself costs $600. It's not really 30% of the price. So, I guess my point is, if you really want to, spend that much money, get SLI or do something like where it will actually make a big increase in your performance. Get a liquid cooling, do all that stuff that makes your system look a lot better, because right now the 2080 Ti is pretty dang expensive, and I don't see it necessarily for me worth the price, especially if you're just going to be doing gaming. If you want that RTX features, keep in mind those aren't in all the games already. I mean, yes, they're out in a few, but you just gotta wait to really wait for it to catch on. So that's what I recommend there. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I kind of want to make this video so that I can kind of explain to people why, when I recommend something, like someone will come to me, they'll be like, hey, I have $500 budget, can you build me a computer? And I'll be like, I don't want to build you I mean, I can, but I don't want to build you a computer because you'll just have to upgrade and spend another $500 in 2 years, 3 years. Why save up and then save up to $800 and you can get yourself a computer that you can just, upgrade, but you don't have to completely redo in 3 years. You can add a new graphics card in a year and you'll be fine, or add another stick of RAM and you'll be fine. So that's what I try to do, is why I really set the budget at $800 so that it's really easy for people to see. But thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, and of course let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Check out the channel for other cool tech related things, and I got another computer build coming up, so check that out. It'll be a super RGB PC. Actually, it's the most RGB PC that I've ever built, so this will be a really fun build. But hope to see you around, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.